Okay, artists, today we're going to be painting the top 3 planes, or however many cakes you have, the top planes first. And so your table setup is going to look like this. You're going to have some water available to you, paintbrush, and you're going to help yourself to some paints. Now, if you notice, I just have an egg carton here, and I really just put paint at the very bottom. You do not need a lot of paint. And it's a lot easier to go get more than to put too much and having it overflow or having to get thrown away at the end of the hour. So the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to take and mix a medium tint. Remember, a tint is any color plus white. So I'm going to start out with taking some of my solid pink and putting it in a new spot. And then I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to take maybe a couple of dips and just see how that looks. And stir it up until it's really well blended and makes a brand new value. Again, this is a tint, which means it's any color plus white. So I think that is not light enough, so I'm rinsing out my brush since I'm heading back in here, and I'm going to do 2 more scoops and stir it in. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. It is easier to darken a color than to lighten it. You need quite a bit of white. Okay, so I'm going to hold my pencil or my paintbrush down here just near the ferrule and get a coat of paint on the tip, set that aside, and as usual I like to turn my painting so I can have a good reach, and basically I'm going to find that first shape and fill it in. Okay, easy peasy. Then I'm not going to paint this side of the cake. I'm going to go to the top of this one and very carefully paint that in. Okay. If your brush seems to be kind of dry, just get more on the tip again. And this is going to be a unique color. It might be hard to mix this again, so try to get it really nice and even. If you go out of the lines a little, we are going to add some other colors, so you can probably fix it. But really, take your time and try to do your best getting into those lines. Okay, so that's the top of that one. One more. Make sure the tip of my brush has some paint on it, and you can start by outlining like this if you prefer. See how it's running out? Just going to dip the tip so I get it coated on the tip. You don't need paint up here, it's not going to be able to be used anyway, so just try to get it on the tip of your bristles. Alright. If I needed to get up to go get something, I would just set my brush right down on the table. I would not just leave it in my water. Remember, we try to care for our brushes by keeping the bristles nice, and leaving it in the water can really loosen the ferrule or this metal part from the bristles, which you don't want. And it also can bend the bristles. If I need to touch up anything, I can go do that now. Great, now I've got all the tops in kind of a medium value. My next step is I'm going to take a slightly darker value and do the fronts of the cakes, because they're not getting as much light. So I'm going to take another scoop of this and darken up what I've already done. I don't want to make it super dark because it is cake, right? So you want it to be like frosting. This is a pretty intense frosting color actually, but I like it. So this, you're going to notice, is going to look different from that, and it should help your the side of your cylinder look different from the top. I always like to slow down when I get to those little spots. That helps me do a good job. And you want it even, so you may have to kind of go back over it a little bit. Here I noticed I went out of the line a little bit. I can just take my finger and pick that up. Okay, so now the top layer is, or the top plane the end of the cylinder is lighter than the side. I'm going to repeat that on all of the layers. Okay, and what happens when I run out? I'm just going to dip it again. Each time you mix a color, you want to use it in all the places you need it, because it is kind of challenging to make the exact same color again. Okay. I'm going to do a second video here in a second, which will show you how to start adding highlights. And that you might end up doing next week when you're done with this. Now I've kind of made a little mess. You will have a paper towel at your table. If you want to fix something, you can just fold it into a little triangle and clean it up. There we go. All right. So this week your big goal is to paint the tops and the sides of each of your cakes. You're going to do a medium value on the tops and a darker value or tint on the sides. And then the last step will add some highlights when you're all done with this. Okay? So go ahead and enjoy your time mixing beautiful tints of your color. Remember, no woodpeckers. In other words, no rinsing and splattering paint by tapping your brush. The nice thing is you probably won't need a ton of water today. But if I needed to add water, I'm going to rinse and wipe on the side. I'm going to just water that down just a little bit. There we go. And then next time we'll add the highlights and the decorations, the plate. You might have time to do today. Let's say you did have time to do the plate today. You are more than welcome to trade values or trade your little tray with someone else. Like, let's say your friend wants a pink tray and you want a yellow tray. You could just trade these and use their color, and they could use yours. I hate to waste paint. Try to use it up. If you don't use it up, it does, if it's not too messy, you can put it on the back counter. If it's just kind of a mess, you can just throw it in the trash today. So that's your first goal. Good luck.